employee, be a more effective family member,
Absolutely.
all that. Because there are lots of good studies that show that the healthier you are, the more you exercise, the more productive you're going to be there on the job.
Absolutely.
In fact, a lot of corporations in the late 80s, early 90s began recognizing that fact and started investing a whole bunch of money to put in fitness gyms and all that on the work site so that and employees could take 10, 20, 30 minutes to go and work out and then come on back to the job.
Absolutely.
They found that employees were more focused, they had more energy, and were just generally happier. And then if you also point out that, well, if you also want to be the best family member as you can, it's also important to have good mental health.
Absolutely.
And, physical exercise works on the exact same neurotransmitters that all these antidepressants that people are taking, popping left and right.
Absolutely.
It works on the serotonin, the norepinephrine, and dopamine. And you can get, there's actually, I don't want to say this because it might run me out of business, but actually there's a lot of good studies that show that regular exercise produces almost comparable results to what a person might get through counseling or either psychotropic medication there.
Right.
But if they stick with it like 3 or 4 days a week minimally for about half an hour at a time.
Right. Oh, that's awesome. So because there are a lot of people that actually come to me, and when we do their health histories, they're taking some type of antidepressant for whatever reason. And I don't know, I can't say that since they've been working with me, they stopped taking it. But again, they are happier, they are healthier, and if they stick with it, they continue to change and grow and develop. And you hear about their cholesterol's coming down, their blood sugar levels coming down, things of that nature. Their blood pressure's coming down. All those things which are very beneficial to how they feel. Their energy level goes up. So I think if you have a high energy level or if your energy level is low and it increases, then you're less likely to be depressed.
Yes.
So that makes a lot of sense.
And the other thing, too, is just like, we would tell an alcoholic not to go and hang out at the bar, one of the things that you need to think about is who are you surrounding yourself with? Are you hanging out with people who are couch potatoes, who don't value physical activity?
Right.
And, that you guys spend Sunday afternoon watching the football games and eating chips and drinking beer the whole afternoon? Or are you surrounding yourself with people who, let's go out and have a Frisbee golf game here on a Saturday and enjoy being outside or working out? If you're going to be around those in the first group, chances are you're probably not going to stick with your exercise program. Whereas if you're in the second group and you're around people who get excited about exercise, who love being in shape and can help motivate you in that kind of way, chances are you're going to stick with it. And that's why so many people, particularly like in the more endurance sports like running and cycling, they do join those different clubs where even in the doldrums of the middle of their training in the middle of the year when it's cold or it's hot, they can go to these clubs, get reinvigorated to get back out there the next day.
That's awesome. That's another thing you find is that you start talking about a person changing their eating habits and healthier lifestyles and things of that nature. And it's like, well, I can do it, but my husband is a bad influence on me because all he wants to do is sit down and drink beer and watch a game or have a drink of wine or a glass of wine, before we go to bed. Or he'll pull out the ice cream when he knows I'm trying to stick to my diet, and he'll pull out and start eating it. And it's like my favorite, rock and roll or whatever. But you find that I hear that a lot, and again, what you're saying is very key as far as maybe creating those boundaries or finding another support group that's outside because you can't really just say, okay, we need to take a separation, honey. For about 6 months, let me get myself together, and then I'll come back to you. That's not going to work. But finding another support group outside of individuals who are eager about exercise and working out and taking care of themselves and things of that nature. Because I used to tell a group of individuals that I worked with, if you want to find a partner to exercise with that'll help motivate you, you want somebody that's like, yeah, let's go today. Let's go. I can't wait to go. I can't wait to meet you after work and exercise and walk. You don't want to call the guy, especially when you are, not really feeling up to it.
That's
You're
right.
tired. You were up last night late with the baby or whatever the case may be. But you don't want to call the person and you say, I don't feel like going today. What about you? Oh, I'm glad you said that because I don't feel like going either. Oh yeah, let's go have a beer. Something along those lines. So again, finding somebody with similar goals and want to reach the same things that you want to reach as far as your
That's so important,
physical
yes.
nature. Absolutely.
And also, even if you can't find an exercise buddy, just finding someone that you can make your goals and plans public to, who can say, well, my goal for this week is to go out and work out 4 times this week.
Right.
And then at the end of the week, they can come back in and say, well, did you go and work out?
Absolutely.
Even if they're not going there with you, it helps to know that I am accountable to someone.
Absolutely.
And just trying to save face, that
Absolutely.
helps get you over those little humps at times.
Absolutely. Accountability is huge. It is huge because, again, if you don't have anybody to be accountable to, then you'll just do what you did before. When you feel like doing it, you'll do it. I don't feel like doing it today. I don't. And then I have more don'ts than do's. Yeah. And so then you're in the same position that you were before. That's very key. If you had to give some people, and we've been talking about tips throughout. We just had, stopped and said these are some tips. But someone who says, I want to start an exercise program, and we said identifying, how valuable exercise is to you and some of your goals and things of that nature. But what would help keep them on the path? What would you tell someone who maybe was fired up in the beginning, but now they're losing a little bit of motivation?
Sure.
What would you suggest to that person?
Well, one of the first things is that I would remind them that in order to develop a habit, you probably need about 3 weeks. A lot of studies have found that 3 weeks is about the minimum amount of time to develop a habit. And so, if they can stick with it for about 3 weeks and have that as part of their regular daily routine or weekly routine, then they're probably going to be willing to stick with it on beyond that because they love, because it gets easier to work into the routine.
Right.
Another thing, too, is to have them to keep an exercise log. Nothing goes farther than being able to say, all right, on this particular day, even though it's raining outside, I did go out and run 2 miles that day.
Right.
Or over this past month, I realized that, hey, I've put in 15 hours on the stepper. And, getting that kind of feedback just goes such a long way.
Absolutely.
But probably the more important thing, and in fact, this is such a no-brainer kind of question, is find something you really enjoy doing.
Absolutely.
When people start exercising, the first thing they think about is running or working on the step or the treadmill. And then after a few days, they kind of give it up.
Right.
And and ask them, well, what was happening for you at the time? Well, it just wasn't fun. Well, why did you choose? Have you done running in the past? Yeah, but it wasn't fun. Well, why don't you start doing it now?
Right, exactly.
So, so be creative and think about what are some activities that are fun and are challenging that would get you motivated to be excited about exercising. And if you can find that, but if you're an outside person, go out and hike. If you like working with dogs, go out and take your dogs for a run. Whatever it could be. But just find something that is fun.
Find something that is fun. All right. Well, and that's great advice. I mean, because you want to do something that you will stick to, and if it's not fun, you're not going to do it. Absolutely. All right. Well, that's going to wrap it up for us tonight at Buffalo's. Again, we want to thank the people at Buffalo's for having us out, allowing us to use their space and to have this great, great conversation. Hopefully some of those